and face it head on. And that's what played out through the treatment.
I saw my family break down. I saw my wife breaking down. I saw my sisters broken. I saw everybody breaking around me. And I decided one night, I sat down and I told myself, I said, if I break down, if I fall sick, they are going to fall sick. So I got to not fall sick. And I'm going to be so tough. What is cancer? I've fought so many battles. I'll fight this thing, whatever it is. And we went for the treatment, and there was a pipe put in my chest, I think to drain the water out. And I remember I told Sevanteji, this is going to come out in 2 weeks. I told you this?
Yes, correct.
And what happened?
It did. And when he came back for the 2 weekly follow-up, I told the surgeon who had put the tube in, we are in for a challenge because he's expecting that the tube will come out. And will it? Because it was all hemorrhagic. It was bloody pleural effusion. It was bloody fluid in the lung. But 2 weeks later, the fluid had already dried out. That's where I would like to mention the angle of precision. So, Sanjay, when we were testing you, before the treatment, we sent out some tests. We sent out blood tests, we sent out tissue-based tests, and now you are one of the biggest proponents of the testing. So we found a particular test that was positive.
PDL1.
PDL1 test was positive, and we drew diagrams and we drew if the PDL1 was this much, this is what the treatment will be. If the PDL1 was this much, this is what the treatment will be. But even with the biomarkers, Sanjay, and that's a confession, was over-treated. His PDL1 was very high, but still I didn't have the courage to give him only immunotherapy, which is the standard of care, and he was treated with combination chemotherapy and immunotherapy. And I would like to acknowledge that I did not cut any doses. He is a gentleman with a Caucasian build, and he was hammered with the right doses, 100% doses as per his body surface area. No corners cut. And the day of the therapy, and the next day, and the following day, and the day after, and the day after, he would continue to exercise every day, every single day. 2 hours on the treadmill, and I would get the WhatsApp of his exercises, and many of us who were involved in his care would get that. And you also went back to working almost right away. We want to hear from you how all that happened.
I realized one thing is that, I didn't want to lie about the cancer, people kind of don't want to make it public, and they want to just not tell people, and because their work suffers, and there are a lot of factors which are involved in this. But I chose to speak about it. At the cost of my career or anything, so that I could help people who are in need. And I told Sevanteji is that, Sevanteji, can I please go for my shooting? So she said, no, you can't go for your shooting now, it's just started.
Peak of COVID. Peak of COVID.
Yeah, but chemo had just started.
Oh.
I said, you have to let me go. I said, it's for my moral boost, and it's for the people of the industry who I'm working with, that I got to go for that shoot. I convinced her and I went. And she said, what is the shoot? I said, I just have to stand there and that's it, But it wasn't like that. I was put on a harness and I was hanging upside down. And
6 hours he was hanging upside down in a harness right after chemotherapy. I was told he was just going to do like a dubbing, a small shoot, something like that. But he was doing that. So one thing that he touched upon very, very quickly was one of his strongest points, and I want to bring that up front as I see I have Mrs. Priya Dutt in the crowd, and I see Mr. Paresh Gilani, Sanju's good friend here, and Mrs. Manita Dutt as well. one of the things that he touched upon was friends and family. And second thing he touched upon was being upfront. So when he came to treatment with me and I was getting hounded by media and I wouldn't pick up my phone, I said, Sanju, how do you want me to present the story? And he said, as is. I don't want to hide anything. You can go ahead and tell what you want to, as is, as I'm going through therapy, no changing of facts. That, I think, is very courageous. That and the fact that he never hid anything from friends and family. And you can see his family and his friend from long distance, his lifetime friend, Mr. Paresh Ghilani. Paresh, thank you so much for joining us. And Mahana, thank you. A big thank you to you also for joining us.
Thank you, Doc, for having me. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me.
And Paresh, do you want to say something?
Dr. Samanthi, obviously you've been a champion leading this entire effort and doing it. Obviously, and when this whole thing happened, it came shock to everyone, obviously, just as it is every patient actually does when they're told. It's the courage of the patient, which happens to be Sanju, we call him, and then it's Sanjay Dutt, and the family that comes around and then eventually leans into a caretaker who leads that, which is you, navigating the entire thing. It was a complex role, what we found out. It was COVID, midst of the COVID, don't know what to do, can't stay in the hospital, you may get infected. If you stay there, if you get out, what do you do? It was a chaos in many ways. And how it actually became together as Priya stepped in immediately. Mana, unfortunately, was in Dubai. I was in the US, how it had to be collaborated, but then it was anchored around you to actually lead us to what it is. Courage of Sanju, which is always shown in many ways, to just buckle up and say, let's face this, and take the bull by the horn, ride it. You led us, and we support it. And then obviously the navigation part was extremely important, and I believe how it all came together is obviously a miracle, but it was also very deliberate, and a part of exploring every options that we had. You actually led the way, and then obviously the hospital at that point was Kokilaben and your support staffs and everybody. It was definitely an effort, which I believe that should be spread and also been learned from. Giving all the tools and access we had, obviously it was limited because of COVID, but I truly believe that what you have led along with Sanjay's courage, we're just, Priya, myself, Mana, and everybody just played a supporting cast.
Thank you, and a big thank you to you too, Paresh, for all your support all the way through, and for being Sanju's biggest support so far, and of course his lifetime friend. So thank you, Paresh, for joining us as well. I
must say, right, that Sanju didn't stop because he said, okay, this is the treatment for me. And he literally sent in, because, when he said, he goes, brother, listen, I have it, mom had it, wife had it, this happened, what do we do as I go along? He always kept in mind, said, well, okay, fine, we're getting this, and we can get into details later, but how do we explore this precision medicine and in extremely cutting edge technologies that we actually are researching around the world? And then when he mentioned, I said, bro, I think these options are here. Intimately, we're not gonna have any stone untorn for your care. Let's start with what you're doing, and then we move on to make sure that we have even as a secondary, third, second, fourth option stuff. And then when he visited, obviously he came to US, for exploring, his first thing was, brother, listen, not everybody will have this access. How do we extend this thing to everyone else? You know, where they can't afford. Very similar to Mom used to say, right? How do I afford the diagnostics? How do people even know they have cancer? How do we do that? And then he was constantly involved. How do we take this, what I'm able to access, take it back home and explore it to everybody? And which is, I believe, the man just faces everything head on. Along with it, he kept on saying, hey, is there anything we can help everybody along with it? They will never have access to this, what you have and what we have, right? Which is, I truly believe that's what you trying to bring back to, you know, to the mass access, and I commend you for it.
Yes, that is the hope, that's the goal, and the reason to really welcome Sanju to this stage was to raise the awareness, elevate the cause, bring it to be bigger than me and the doctors in this room. It's all about the patient. It's all about him, how he sought the diagnostics, how he turned around to take the treatment. Someone who had the first thoughts of not getting treated, then treated and in complete remission, and what a story. I say Sanjay Dutt, Mr. Sanjay Dutt is a poster child of precision oncology, and 2 years later, even the immunotherapy has been stopped. He remains in complete remission with no evidence of disease. With that, I thank Paresh, and I would like to welcome Mrs. Manyata Dutt. Mana, would you like to say something?
You know, this topic is so close to my heart that, you know, every time I fall short of words, because there's so much in my heart that, you know, I mean, my emotions take over my my words, and I'm always short of words. But, you know, I know, having said that, you know, Priya has been like fantastic with everything, you know. I mean, of course, it's not just because she has been dealing with a lot of cancer patients, or cancer has been like in the family with my mother-in-law and with Richa, but also she's such a strong person. And, you know, that time I was not there. I flew in the next day after the news was broken out to Sanju. As you said, you felt Sanju is in a stage of denial. But when I looked at Sanju, he was very composed. He was calm. And he just looked at me and he said, Mom, get ready to fight. And, you know, this is what I've been doing since the time that I know him. 18 years of my life that I am been with him. I have done one thing blindly, is I have believed in him. I have trusted his instinct. And so I was like, okay. And we decided as parents to Sharan and Ikra that we are not going to expose them a lot to what we are going through. And that has always been a strong decision from us as parents, and that we believed in. And of course, you know, and I just followed Sanju. I am personally a strong believer of being very positive with my approach towards life. I believe what you throw to the universe comes back to you. And Sanju was just practicing that. He said, I do not have cancer. I'm going to fight it. And that's how it went. So we had all the planning in place, but, you know, execution requires a lot of discipline. I was a bit worried, knowing Sanju, you know, I mean, I've been 15 years of marriage and knowing him for 18 years. He is the most undisciplined person. I mean, we all know, I mean, he has been, you know, I mean, there, you know, but, you know, this was a task. But, you know, how beautifully he has just molded himself. And, you know, I feel, you know, every time there is something that has gone wrong, the most righteous way, the righteous person has come out of it. So I feel so proud, and I feel great that today he's there as a face of this cause. And yeah, you know, just keep it going, stay strong, because I feel, Sanju, you are there, born here not for being entertaining. You said you're a real life hero, but I feel you're born for a much larger cause in life. You know, you have been, you know, face of so many good causes, but I think this is putting your life there and teaching people, look, I have done it, you can do it. I think this is something I mean, I feel proud and I feel it's very commendable. And of course, Dr. Sivanti, you have been a very strong part and a supportive part of this entire journey. I know I've had these crazy conversations with you. Of course, because of the time difference, I would call you at odd hours, and you have always been very supportive, not only as a doctor, but also as a guiding person, because I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil, and as I promised to Sanjay that I will stay strong, I had to stay strong. But so you have always been there supporting me, guiding me, and yes, so thank you everybody, and yeah.
Thank you. Mana, you said it right. You said it so right. He is the brave one. And through all the stories of indiscipline, Sanju was the patient who turned up on time every time. He never broke rules. He sailed through all the treatment. He took all the medicines on time. He took all the injections on time. He turned up for all his tests. So that's a testimony of his integrity as presented by Mrs. Manyata Dutt. And kudos to you and more power to you and more power to your message and your ability to come up front to the masses and share your story. Honored.
I just want to thank everybody sitting here to hear a little part of this story. I can go on and on, but it is so important that you have family support. I mean, it is so important for a patient that you have a beautiful family who stands like pillars in your life. I thank Mana, I thank my wonderful brother Paresh, I thank my beautiful sister Priya and Namrita and the kids and everybody. But that's taken for granted, that's going to be there, these people. But most of all, to have a supportive doctor for a patient. She is the Munna Bhai MBBS. And along with her is her team of Rutu and Chetan and Dr. Hemant and where's my darling Gina?
Oh,
There she is. The most wonderful team. They never made me feel like a patient. They made me feel like a king. And that is the beauty. I mean, it's just a touch from a doctor. It's a different ball game, I mean, doctors are busy and everything like that, but it's just that these people are amazing, and I think all the guys who are becoming doctors should learn from this team, because I've experienced the team for 2.5 years, nearly 3 years, and it's more of giving you that boost and that. I hate injections, but yet they,
yes, that's the toughest thing. Any blood draw and any injection is the toughest thing. We have to really work our way through. But thank you, Sanju, for making time.
Thank you.
And Dr. Tarang wanted to say a few words, but before, if you could, should I bring the mic there?
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
मेरा request है, kindly make it quick because he was about to leave.
आप बोलिए ना अभी यार.
And no further questions strictly. We are only here for
शुरू करें क्या? संजय सर, कैंसर की जो आपकी जर्नी रही है काफ़ी इंस्पायरिंग है, जैसे कि आप स्टेज पे बता रहे थे. कुछ अगर हमारे साथ हिंदी में साझा करना चाहें कि कैसे आपने फाइट आउट किया और कैसे डिसाइड किया?
ठीक है, सबसे पहले मैं यही कहना चाहता हूँ कि अगर आपको ऐसा महसूस होए तो आपको टेस्ट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. मतलब आई थिंक टेस्टिंग बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ होती है. मतलब हर 6 महीने में आदमी टेस्ट करे, जो स्मोकर हो या जो तंबाकू खाता हो. बिल्कुल उसमें कोई डरने की बात नहीं है, क्योंकि अर्ली डिटेक्शन इज़ द मेन थिंग आई थिंक, जो मैं
That's
कह रहा हूँ.
correct. Absolutely.
तो लेकिन वो करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, उससे डरना नहीं है, वो ट्रीटेबल चीज़ है. जैसे कि प्रिसीजन की बात कर रहे थे, अगर आपका पीडीएल लेवल बहुत अच्छा है तो हो जाता है काम, और सब यहाँ की बात है. और अगर फाइट करना है तो करना है.
हम चाहेंगे आप वो पल बताएं जब आपको पहली बार बताया गया था कि कैंसर है. अभी आप स्टेज पे बोले तो हम चाहेंगे कि आप थोड़ा उसके बारे में बोले, जब आपको पहली बार बताया गया और कैसा रिएक्शन था.
वापस डायलॉग बोलूँ वो?
हिंदी में.
नहीं, वो पल देखिए, कैंसर एक ऐसा शब्द हो गया है जैसे कि मतलब कि कैंसर हो गया है, ये हो गया. मैं समझता हूँ कि कैंसर एक बुरी बीमारी है, लेकिन हार्ट अटैक भी उतना ही बुरा है, किडनी फेलियर भी उतना ही ख़राब है, लिवर ट्रांसप्लांट भी उतना ही है, उससे भी ज़्यादा है, यू नो. एंड लेकिन इससे आदमी को क्यों डर लगता है? क्योंकि इसको एक बड़ा चढ़ा के बोला गया है. ये भी एक डिजीज़ है जिसका हम सामना कर सकते हैं, और सामना करना ही चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से. तो जी, मुझे डर लगा, मैंने सोचा कि अभी क्या होगा, यू नो. लेकिन कुछ नहीं हो सकता. जब इंसान अपने दिमाग से लड़े और दिमाग को मजबूत बनाए तो सब काबिल हो जाता है.
हम चाहेंगे आप
ऐसी बातें हो रही हैं क्योंकि आज आप यहाँ पे आप लोग ने ऐसी बातें हो रही, जब से कोविड आया तब से कैंसर बहुत ही तेजी से बढ़ गया है. तो इसके पीछे क्या कुछ सच्चाई है? क्या कुछ कि अगर आप कुछ बताना चाहें कि कैंसर क्या है वो कोविड जब से आया तब से?
कोविड आया तो कैंसर बढ़ा नहीं है, कैंसर की डायग्नोसिस बढ़ गई है क्योंकि स्कैन्स ज़्यादा हो रहे हैं कोविड के वजह से. आई वुड लाइक टू जस्ट स्टैंड अप बिकॉज़ मिसेस प्रिया दत्त इज हियर. आप आइए.
मैं हो गया मेरा,
बहुत
जाऊँ?
morning. 2 मिनट
अभी क्या बोल रहे हैं?
बैठ 2 मिनट बैठ. हाँ, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कैंसर के रेट्स बढ़ गए हैं, पर कैंसर का डिटेक्शन बढ़ गया क्योंकि स्कैन्स हो रहे हैं कोविड की वजह से इतना.
और
आपके घर वालों के लिए कितना मुश्किल पल था संजय सर जब ये खबर आई कि आपको कैंसर है?
घर वाला एक बगल में ही बैठा है, उनसे पूछिए.
उनसे पूछिए.
नहीं, हर किसी घर की तरह आई थिंक यू नो तकलीफ तो होती है. एंड आई थिंक यू नो पहले तो बहुत घबराहट होती है, उसके बाद आई थिंक वी हैव टू फोकस ऑन व्हाट इज़ देयर ऑन हैंड और उस हिसाब से आगे बढ़ना पड़ता है. तो आई थिंक यू नो किसी के भी घर में अगर ये कैंसर वर्ड भी आ जाए तो आप सब जानते हैं कि क्या हालत हो जाती है.
ज्योति जी, जब संजय सर आपके पास इलाज के लिए आए थे, जैसे कि वो बता रहे थे, काफ़ी ब्रेव तरीके से उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे कैंसर नहीं है और एक सामान्य बीमारी की तरह ले रहे थे. उसके बारे में कुछ बताएंगे?
तो सिर्फ अभी ब्रेव नहीं है, वो शुरू से ही इतने ब्रेव थे. जब पहली दफ़ा मैं उनसे मिली थी, जब वो फर्स्ट टाइम आए थे मुझसे एज अ पेशेंट डॉक्टर मिलने के लिए, तब भी वो बिल्कुल पेशेंट के जैसे नहीं लग रहे थे. वो बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस से आए थे और उनका पूरा परिवार उनके साथ आया था. ये बात मैं एक्नॉलेज करना चाहूँगी. उनके पीछे उनका पूरा परिवार उनके पीछे था. उनकी पत्नी जो यहाँ नहीं थी वो वीडियो कॉल पे थी, तो पूरा परिवार उनको सपोर्ट कर रहा था और बहुत ही हिम्मत के साथ आए थे. और मैंने उनको ये कहा भी था उस दिन कि आप पेशेंट तो बिल्कुल नहीं लग रहे.
डॉक्टर तरफ और डॉक्टर से जानना चाहूँगी कि ये जो लाइफस्टाइल में बदलाव की वजह से पिछले कुछ सालों से हमने देखा है कि बहुत ज़्यादा कैंसर के केसेस सामने आए हैं. आपको क्या लगता है कि किस तरह के लाइफस्टाइल चेंजेस लोगों को अपनाने चाहिए जिसकी वजह से इस कैंसर को अवॉइड किया जा सके?
सो आई थिंक सबसे पहला तो आई थिंक द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन जो आपने पूछा था कोविड के लिए, कोविड के बाद से कैंसर रेट एक इस वजह से भी बढ़े हैं क्योंकि 1 साल तक लोग हॉस्पिटल नहीं जा पाए थे. तो जिसने भी अपना हेल्थ चेकअप कराना था वो हेल्थ चेकअप पोस्टपोन कर दिया गया था. तो उसकी वजह से अब जब लोग चेकअप करा रहे हैं तो नंबर्स आर कमिंग मोर. सेकेंड, आई थिंक लाइफस्टाइल में द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग इज़ द डिसिप्लिन. आई थिंक डॉक्टर सेवंती ने मिस्टर दत्त के बारे में भी बताया दैट इवन व्हेन ही वाज ऑन कीमोथेरेपी वो एक्सरसाइज करते थे. सो आई थिंक दैट इज़ समथिंग एज अ लाइफस्टाइल वी हैव टू फॉलो. वी डोंट हैव टू एक्सरसाइज हैज़ टू बी डन जैसे कि हम सुबह उठ के ब्रश करते हैं. सो जैसे अगर हम ब्रश करना नहीं भूल सकते, हम नाश्ता करना नहीं भूल सकते, वैसे हम एक्सरसाइज करना हमें नहीं भूलना चाहिए. एंड आई थिंक हेल्दी डाइट एंड हेल्दी एक्सरसाइज इज समथिंग जिससे नॉट ओनली कैंसर, आप बाकी सब प्रॉब्लम्स को भी जल्दी इंश्योर कर सकते हैं कि वो होए ना, और अगर होए तो वी कम आउट ऑफ इट strongly because the body is healthy. That is most important. And health checkups are very important.
So what does a day in your life look like right now? And how has a perception in life changed? Perception towards life. So there are two questions.
How does a day
What
in
is
life looks right
A
now?
day?
Yeah, what is a day in your life like right now? And
Well,
what
the
has
day
a
in my life
perception-
right now is like
Yeah.
every normal day in anybody's life.
Right.
I mean, I go
What
to.
has changed? Yeah, I mean in your routine. Yeah.
What has changed? I've become more disciplined. You heard my wife saying that. You know, so I mean,
Now, let me just tell you that he has really gotten involved in fitness. We have actually from Reliance also been working with him for the nutrition, for the fitness.
But he used to be into fitness earlier also. What has changed in terms of fitness?
So
Like, what
there
is
was
he
a
doing
gap
more now?
during the therapy, initial therapy.
Yeah.
It wasn't being done to that extent.
Okay.
And now, Sanjay, about
Yeah, if you would
weight
like to-
loss and
देखिए, I tell you one thing कि फिटनेस से, एक्सरसाइज से और एक हेल्दी वातावरण से
Yeah.
आपका इम्यून सिस्टम बढ़ता है, एक बूस्ट होता है,
Yeah.
जो इम्यूनोथेरेपी से भी होता है.
Right.
लेकिन नेचुरल बूस्ट आपको व्यायाम से,
Right.
एक हेल्दी डाइट से बहुत बहुत होता है, जो आई थिंक लोगों को ये समझना चाहिए और सीखना चाहिए,
Right. Right.
यू नो, टू कॉम्बैट एनीथिंग. तो ये सब चीज़ें, ये चेंज आया है.
What
मैंने
has been your biggest learning, sir, after this experience?
डोंट टेक लाइफ फॉर ग्रांटेड, एज सिंपल एज दैट. नाउ आई कैन गो.
thank you so much. Thank you. Priya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nice to